I'm fresh, I'm flossy, I'm blessed, I'm glossy, I'm too hot to handle. Cause they don't got handles. I'm living, I'm winning, not timid. They giving me a standing ovation. Cause I am amazing.
Hey everyone, welcome to Unveiling Beauty. It is Monday the 13th. I had to think about that.
Monday
but it is
again.
The 13th. Here we are again. We are so excited to be here with you. Ammon, we have an action-packed show today, don't we?
Oh my gosh, this is one I've been waiting for, Nick. This is one that we've been really talking about with the other artists about, within the industry and within just the world that's going on. What's important? What should we be talking about? Should we be showcasing techniques? Should we be giving them tips for at-home stuff? Or should we just be genuinely having real talk about real concerns of what they're feeling and maybe emotions or fears or what we can be doing to kind of like stay connected as an industry? And that's what this episode is really about, called Real Talk, right? To hear from our pros and for us to have an open discussion where we encourage those of you that are watching to engage with us, ask us questions that come relevant to us, and just pick at some topics that might be causing some anxiety or the uncertainty in this uncertain time that we're living right now.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's also an opportunity for us to share some ideas that we have as we get ready to come out of this moment in time and get back into reality and back to the salons and back into the industry, and how we can hit the ground running in a really great way.
Sure is. All right, well, we are so lucky because as of today, we actually we're partnered, and we have this incredible marketing campaign from Ulta Beauty that is called See Beautiful Today. And they've done this really great idea about humanizing what's going on in the world today. And it's not necessarily about hair products or makeup products or the things that we sell in our stores or even the services that we provide, but just who we are as human beings and how we can be there for each other from a heartfelt type of way. And they prepared this little video for you that I'd like to show you right now. And Nick, when it comes back, you and I can talk about what this campaign means to us and how we can excite everybody to be a part of this movement.
Love it. I totally love this. This is exactly what this moment in time is all about, is really seeing the beautiful around us. So I think this captures it in such a beautiful way. And I love that it's getting groundswell already, isn't it, Ammon?
Yeah, in fact, if you guys go to at Ulta Beauty on Instagram, you'll see lots of posts from our associates, our pro team members, our design team members, really spotlighting and highlighting things that are special to them and areas where they find beauty in everyday life. Even though right now it's sometimes hard to see beauty, and it's really hard sometimes if you're just gravitationally pulled into what can be a spiral effect of media darkness and just worry. It's a great way for us to all pull together and really create something positivity on a platform that's so powerful. So hashtag See Beautiful Today, tag Ulta Beauty, those moments in your life that are just making you feel special. And hopefully they get featured on our Ulta Beauty social media and you guys will be famous and you can join this big campaign for us.
I love it. And you know what, Ammon, it's so funny because I don't know about you, but I have been, taking walks and different things and seeing beautiful things I never noticed before. I'll make you laugh. The other day, Jeff and I were walking through our subdivision and we were walking back towards the house. And he said, look how cool the roof looks. And I was like, what are you talking about? We have these Spanish shingles on the roof that are ombre into like these three different color grays. And I was like, oh, it really is cool. I never noticed our roof ever before. So it's making you pause and notice the smallest of things that life is happening. We're moving fast. We would never notice things like that on a day-to-day basis. At least I wouldn't. So it's making me pause and appreciate the small things around me for sure.
Yeah, I can relate. I mean, we're stuck at home, and I think it's very easy to kind of feel like trapped sometimes. And I know that one of the moments that really caught my eye, Jeff and I are engaged to be married in August, and fingers crossed, the world moves and we're able to move forward. But we're moving forward optimistically, and so we've been like packing wedding invitations, and we caught this cute little video of Jeff's cat Chester helping us out by sitting in the box while we were stuffing envelopes.
I saw that.
And it's so cute, and I'm so grateful that we have him there to get in our way or help or whatever. But it's those moments that we can smile about, and it's easy to find things to not smile about. But if we take the time to focus on the things that we can be grateful for, it'll shift our mindset, and as a world, we can make a really positive shift in the way we would work through this.
Yeah. By the way, I love the fact that you're excited about your cat in a box next to you, because I remember there was a time when you weren't a fan of cats.
Oh
so
my
it
God.
just
I am
makes me
officially a cat
smile.
person. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Chester's the best, though. If anybody follows me, he is the best.
He's so cute. Hey, before we go any further, if you guys haven't already, make sure you share this on your page so others could watch this and it gets some groundswell to the show. We want everybody to start watching these. So, and if you have a lot of questions or any questions that come to mind while you're with us today, please make sure to put them in the comments, and we will make sure to get to as many questions as possible.
Yeah, and I haven't tried this new feature that's on Facebook that's called like a watch party, where you can watch the same episode with your friends, and I'm dying to do so. So please, if you guys see that, if you see that feature while you're watching, you can click watch party and invite your friends to watch this episode together, so that you're all commenting on what you're hearing at the same time, just like if you were in your living room together. So thank goodness for technology, for enabling us to do this, but also still enabling people to interact while they're engaging in what we're talking about. How many times do you want to talk to your friends about your favorite TV show and you have to call them? But if you can watch it together and react together at the same time, It's kind of like that. So try it out. I haven't tried it yet. I'm anxious to try it, but get on there and let's get to it. We have a fun show packed for you guys today. Real Talk is just what it sounds. It's set up in a way where we've asked 3 of our pro team members to give us topics that they found relevant and that they found were important to talk about in the way that they're feeling about the world today. And so our first guest today is none other than Miss Pekela Riley. Everybody clap from home. Oh, Pekela Riley.
Hi.
My friend.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Good.
How you doing down there?
Awesome.
Thor's joining the broadcast. Sorry for the barking. Hi, buddy. We love you too. So PK, when I talked and we had a little conference call and talked about this this topic, everybody got very excited. Let's just talk real. Let's just put it out there. Let's talk about the questions that people are maybe nervous about or anxious about it, and maybe ones that we don't have the answers to, but we can help give them ideas, tangible, real ideas that they can sink their teeth into and be doing, so that they can be preparing for when it's ready to come. And so I wanted to start with you, because some of your thoughts or some of your topics that you brought up to me were very thought-provoking. And so I'm just going to kick it off with that in a thought-provoking kind of way. Sure. So the first one that you sent my way was called The Perceptions of Productivity. So tell me what the perceptions of productivity means to you and why you chose that to be the first topic of discussion.
We're in this space, and everything is different. Everything is new. And so we're reacting. And so, there's so much content and people are busy and trying to stay busy. But, there needs to be some patience in really adjusting to the new norm. And so sometimes to feel safe, we're creating the perceptions of productivity while trying to cope with everything that's going on. Can you hear me, Ammon?
Yeah, totally. I was perceptions of productivity. So what do you mean by, perceiving productivity means it could be perceived doing one thing versus another. Sometimes productivity could be working on yourself or meditating.
Sure. Exactly.
Give me some examples that you found.
Yeah, definitely. So there's so many perceptions of productivity. And so we feel the urge to, the visible things. What will people see me doing? What will people see me doing? And so oftentimes those are the perceptions of productivity. But sometimes we get further along when we just kind of step back and really do that inner work, the inside work that we need to do to get where we want to be. So, you can be having your hands on lots of things at one time, but oftentimes if we just step back and really start to focus on what it is that we want to do forward, really absorbing the situation and absorbing what we want to do forward, then we'll find that we are actually more efficient versus having our hands all over several things while there's so much going on. And so many of us feel the need to keep the same pace when really you may have better productivity by really assessing what's going on and being able to focus on your next move.
I always think of that as more isn't more always, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes less is more. Sometimes taking a pause and resetting and taking a step back and evaluating and thinking about everything from a fresh lens, so to speak, fresh set of eyes.
Yes.
And I think that's what this time is giving everybody, is a moment to really look at things with a fresh set of eyes, a clear mind, taking a step back, pausing, evaluating, and really looking at what is really important right now.
And I agree, Nick. And I feel like we're in a space right now where we certainly feel that stimuli to do. We certainly have that stimuli to consume. But oftentimes it's like we're consuming. We oftentimes already possess the information in which we need. Now is a space to really develop that plan and so that we can take action. Oftentimes we already know what we need to know. And this is a good time to chart out. Not to chart it out, but to begin to execute and not stay in a state of constantly consuming and filling our days with, small tasks, but really thinking about what's going to be needed going forward and how this dynamic has shifted all of us forever.
Yeah, I think you're really spot on there. I think it's about turning down the noise, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, there's a lot of noise out there in the world and we get caught up in it, whether it's the pace we're moving or the information that's coming at us. Think about when you were a child and how fast information came at you versus today, how fast things come at you. I mean, it's totally different. And we're in this like now. If it isn't this second, it's too late and it's not happened. And I think you're right. I think taking that pause is allowing us to understand what we know and what we don't know, and making room for appreciating what we do know and that knowledge, and then what to do with it next, or identifying in the areas of opportunity of where you want to fill those gaps.
Yes, and I always say the tragedy is not having a goal. The tragedy is not knowing what that goal is. And so if we stay in a state of constant consumption, of constant, distractions, then we may not know what the next steps are. So make sure that you're taking time for yourself during all of this chaos to just find those still moments, step away, put the device down. I love that we have so much free education and there's so much content out there. But what I've found, and as I talk to other stylists and as I really get honest with myself, oftentimes we have the information. We've already run across that information. We possess the things that we need. Now it's really about hunkering down so that we can be effective versus busy.
Pekela, go ahead, Nick.
Go ahead, Ammon. No.
No, she just reminded me of something that I had a coach once that he gave me something to do as sort of homework. And at the time it felt silly, but I committed to doing it. And I'm going to share it with, in a vulnerable way, I'm going to share it with the audience now, because it was something that, although it felt very simple and it felt very rudimentary almost, it really made a huge impact in the way that my brain worked and saw life. And that was, I committed that every morning, the first thing that I would do when I would wake up, I would sit up and there would be a notebook next to my bed. And the first thing I would do was write down the first 10 things that came to mind that I was grateful for that were great in my life. And then I would take that piece of paper and I would tear it out and I would fold it up and I would have it in my pants pocket for whatever outfit I was wearing that day. And all day long, as you're getting busy, getting distracted, and all this noise comes from social media, anytime I would do anything, if my hand went to my pocket, even if I didn't take it out, I would go, what's in my pocket? Oh yeah, and my brain would instantly go back to those things that I was grateful for and the things that I had that were great in my life. And it kept my mind shift in that positive place so that I was continuing to operate from what I have that's great. What I can keep doing this. I have such great things that I have going for me already. And I challenge you guys, it may be silly, but try it for a couple of days. I really do think it'll be something that will make a shift in the way that you view and the way that you perceive every single day.
And I certainly agree with you. And just to piggyback on that, writing your thoughts down really begins to organize your day. Here's another thing it does too. You know, because we can oftentimes be distracted from the things that we need to accomplish each day, and it's really important that we keep that focus today, is that, you know, we write that down, it keeps us from that device. Because even if you have it typed into your notes, you may get on and you go down the rabbit hole and you're on YouTube for 2 hours. And so you end up having a busy day, but not a productive day. So certainly writing down your thoughts is just another a secondary action that allows you to stay focused and ultimately have maximally effective days.
Yeah, I think that's really smart to do. I'll tell you, Pekela, you said something about, you know, put the device down for a second. So it's funny because, yeah, every day I try to at least run, bike, walk, something at least once a day. I laugh and tell everybody that I'm going to come out of this with like 30 pounds heavier because of how much I'm eating and drinking, but that's another thing. But I'm trying to
Don't judge me.
Right? I'm trying to at least take one moment in the day to step outside. And what I've noticed is the mornings that I take my phone with me, I don't feel like I actually did anything that felt like it was exercise. But the times where I leave the phone behind, it's the same routine, whether it's a bike ride, a walk, a run. If I leave the phone behind, when I come back, I actually feel like I escaped for a minute, and I feel like I had a moment to myself to think. There's something about having that device in your hand that you feel like you have to constantly like attend to it, versus when I'm able to like put it down and go just escape for 30 minutes or however long I do. It's a completely different feeling, and it's a completely different mindset. And when I come back, I either come back with more to do because of all the things I thought of when I didn't have my phone with me, or when I have my phone with me, I'm actually doing while I'm out there. So it's a totally different experience.
Yeah,
Nick, I think you actually, that was kind of a perfect segue into Pekela's second point that she brought up for us to discuss. And it is, do you want what you wanted before? And I think the underlying kind of question is, what will you leave behind once we come clear of this? And will your goals have shifted, right? And is it okay for you to take this time to assess that the world is different and it's changing, and so therefore my goals might be changing? And so Pekela, talk to us a little bit about what your thoughts are with that topic that you gave us.
Yeah, Ammon, that's real. Ammon and I talked quite a bit, and the other day I said, hey, this is BC, you know, biblically AC and BC, you know, was before Christ, and now BC is before Corona. So life has changed. And so, you know, our perspective might have changed. And most of our perspectives have changed. And so it's really important that we do take that time and just tap into how we really feel and really kind of change, really focus on how we want to serve the world from this point, because it changed. And so, what does that look like going forward? And make sure that's why taking that time to put the device down, really setting the intentions and the tone of your day, to give yourself that opportunity to think forward. Like, do you want what you wanted before? Because your clients' needs have changed now. You know, as an educator, the stylist needs have changed. And so if you're really in tune to who you are here to serve, then you may find that the way that you want to serve and what you want to give to this world has already shifted. And really just find moments to tap into that space, because we're going to need that on the other side of this.
You know, it's funny you say that. The one thing that Jeff has said to me 100 times over is like, I want you to come out of this different. Like, what are you going to do that brings you out of this different? He's like, you're still like wound so tight and you're working like crazy. What are you going to come out of this with it makes this moment meaningful to you in your life. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm still trying to figure that part out, because
Yes, me
I'm not
too.
going to slow down in the sense of like work less. That's just not my DNA. My goals are like actually bigger now than they were going into this, because I've had time to think about them. So like,
Heaven
you
help us
know,
all.
it's like I don't know, but what I am aware of is that I don't know, and I'm aware that I need to come out of this different, and I know that I have to do that. So I'm very aware of figuring that out before this is over, because it's critical that this does that everybody has some sort of shift in their life, whether that's a
Yeah,
mind
Nick,
shift, whether that's a moment in time shift of redirecting. But something has to positively, selfishly come out of this, right?
yeah.
That is going to fill you up and make you a better person for you.
I think just like Nick, I love the way that you said that, because in history, no matter what it is, no matter what happens, the people that thrive are the ones who are able to adapt, right? We all know,
True.
no matter what it looks like, there's uncertainty about the future. None of us between the three of us, none of us know exactly it's gonna be. And that not knowing, but being willing to adapt to the change that's coming, I think is the key to the success. So any advice, tangible advice that we could give to anybody that's watching, is to remain open to your path being different than you once had it in your head. You can still have maybe similar goals, but the trajectory of your path or the direction that you get there may be completely different than you had imagined. And be open to that change and be flexible. The universe finds weird ways of dropping opportunities in front of you, and it's up to you to listen to those opportunities and to take advantage of them when they come. And I will say, firsthand, that I have listened to the universe and taken some pretty big risks that people were unsure of. And every time that I have listened and said, the universe is saying this is something you should grab onto, and when I've
Yes.
grabbed it and taken it, I've never regretted it. Never. And I think this is going to be an opportunity for a lot of people to have that moment where you can go back and try to beat the pavement the way you used to, or you can try to be aware of, how can I shift? How can I be different in this new time?
And that's why it's so important that we're purposeful in our productivity and not being busy, because you're going to need that type of time and that type of intention to even be ready after this, to be able to serve after this. You're going to have to create that space to know what it is and the way to serve forward. What will our guests need? What will your family need? What will you need? How has this impacted you mentally, physically, and really just thinking about how we all are going to serve um, the world differently.
Absolutely. Pekela, I love the way your brain thinks. The last bullet point that you gave us to talk about, I'm just going to read it the way that you wrote it, and then you can fill it in for our viewers to understand it. And you said, transitional trauma, multiple new normals. So talk to me about what that
Ah,
means when I say that.
well, yeah, it's just that, we sometimes I hear people naively say, when things go back to the way they were, I can't wait till things get back to normal. And I know that we'll all be together again, we'll all be servicing hair and creating our artistry, but it will be different. And I think it's important to know that right now we're adjusting to a new normal. It's like everybody's like trying to create a schedule. I'm working, building out, finishing out my content room, really thinking about new normals. But we're going to have transitional periods. So, everything won't just open up like to the way that it was, like turning on a light switch. It may be in phases. We may service differently. We may educate differently. So, be patient with yourself in how you really adapt to the adjustments, because we have a few. Sometimes that can manifest in, Sonya and I were talking earlier, at moments with anxiety, losing sleep. So it's important that you journal these things, have that time to be productive, write these things so that you can focus on what's next, and then be prepared that you're going to have to be adaptable and adjust, because we actually have, I would say, at least 2 to 3 adjustments before we actually have what is the new normal.
Yeah, I think you said it right from the beginning. Going back to the way it was, going back to normal, that's not an option.
No.
Then we didn't learn from this. Then we didn't grow from this. Then we didn't come back stronger and better. And that's what we do as individuals, as humans. I could say that's what we do in America. We come back stronger, right? So I think that I hope we don't go back to what was in the sense of whatever that was, right? However you want to identify that. What I hope we come back with is knowledge, strength, clarity, focus, and like the biggest thing I think about is realizing truly what's important, not what we think is important. Because I don't know about you, but there's a lot of things that I think are important, but if I strip away half of them, they're probably not important at all.
Yeah.
You know.
And the reason why I said the phrase and I wrote that phrase, transitional trauma, is because, yeah, we got the memes that keep us laughing. Certainly glad that we can get on live and share with each other. But, you know, there are things about the way that it was that we mourn. There are things about, you know, the next phase that we're going to mourn. So I think we have to own what we feel, own that it's affecting us in many ways. And so there will be different transitional traumas in each of those phases. And the reason why I speak to them is that anytime that we can own something and really we can own it, we have a chance of standing up to it. We have a chance of rising to the occasion. But first it's owning it. And so that we can really build ourselves up mentally and physically and from a focus and perspective standpoint to get through the next few phases until we get to a new normal.
Right.
Said it so beautifully, Pekela. Thank you so much. Very thought-provoking questions. Anything else that you'd like to leave? I think we're going to transition into Sonya in just a second, but I wanted to give you or Nick an opportunity to kind of wrap up this this Pekela thought process together.
Wow, I'm just, you know, happy to see you guys and just, you know, looking forward to getting to the new normal.
Yeah,
I agree.
we are too.
I think, hey, figuring it all out together, right? We hold hands and we jump, just like we do every other thing, and we jump back in, and we jump back in with a vengeance, and we do it with passion and heart. And I think when you do things with passion and heart and intention, I think it just it's beautiful, right? And that's the theme of today, right? So I think it's appropriate.
Speaking of passion and heart, Nick, I don't think there's anybody on our team that embodies passion and heart more than our next guest. I would like to introduce Miss Sonya Dove to come and join us now. Say bye to Pekela. Thank you, Pekela.
See you soon.
Sonya, are you there?
Hi, great. Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Welcome, 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 my darling.
Thank you.
So good to see you.
So good to see you. All the way on the other side of the country. So glad we have technology to bring us all together to do this, and love hearing your perspective and some of the topics that you brought. I'm sure everybody's wondering, you know, what's on Sonya's mind. Sonya's been in the industry as an industry icon for a long time, and so maybe she has a greater lens into what's coming up. So I would love to talk to them about the topics that you gave us and hear your thoughts about that. So the first one that comes up was how to get back into, excuse me, I was about to read one of Sean's, sorry. Sonya, okay, stylists giving back to themselves. Why is that your first topic?
It's my first topic because I'm very passionate about it. Anyone that's a stylist, makeup artist, esthetician, salon owner, or company owner, they're usually of a type of personality that they're used to just giving out. You know, that's the type of personality they are. They give out everything they have from themselves. For stylists, it's in the salon, and for salon owners, it's giving out to their team, to people that they work with them. But what I'm really passionate about is making sure that people give back to themselves. And it's something that I've always struggled with. I'll be honest with you. My big challenge all my life has been time. You know, the lack of time. And now we're in this situation, I've got all the time in the world being at home. But what happened is, at first I had a little bit, I went through a process of guilt. You know, I was doing things like giving back to myself looked like having a long bath with lots of candles around and lots of bubbles, and maybe having a glass of champagne while I'm in the bath. But that felt so guilty to do something like that, even when I had time. And so, for hairdressers or anyone out there, do the things that give back to yourself, because no one else is going to do it for you, especially when you think about your daily routine. You know, you're giving out, then you get home, and then you're giving out to your family, your friends, your partners, your animals, whomever, and always in that motion of giving out. But there comes a time that you really, really need to give back to yourself. And it comes with age a little bit as well. But do things that you've always wanted to do. Some of the other days at home, my boyfriend thought I was mad. I just cranked up the music. It was 8 o'clock at night. I danced barefoot in my living room with the music really, really loud. Yes, he thought I'd lost it. But what it was something I felt like doing because I wanted to feel happy. I wanted to give back to myself because that's something I wanted to do for myself, and it made me feel so much greater later. So hairdressers, all of you out there, do something little to give back to yourself on a daily basis. That's where's that question came from.
That's awesome. I love that. And I think that's so true. I think it is about thinking about what do you need to fill your cup back up. And you know, one thing that I heard from a lot of stylists who've been reaching out on social media was a lot of people saying, hey, I can't believe this is the first time I actually took the time to learn a new technique, or to go to an online class, or to, you know, listen to some advice that you guys have and things like that. And it's interesting because a lot of really busy stylists don't have the luxury of time, right? They don't have the luxury to get into a classroom and learn something new as much as they might want to. So I hope that the people who have reached out and felt really good about giving themselves that time to learn something new, that they continue to do that when they go back into the workforce. And to your point, Sonya, whether you're an esthetician or a makeup artist or an arch expert or a hairstylist, like, take that time to fill you back up so you feel empowered, so that you can share that knowledge and share that energy and excitement with your guests when you get back into the salon.
That's true. And the challenge is, Nick, that we've got the time now, but when we go back and we're back at work eventually, making sure that we give ourselves that space to give back to ourselves. That's going to be the tough one. It really is. But yeah.
To your point, what I've learned is that if you don't schedule it, it isn't happening. Like, if you don't make it happen, it's not going to happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what, Sonya? I'm glad that you and Nick had a chance to kind of banter for a second before that, because I'm watching our kind of run of show script on one screen, and I'm watching the live. And as I was watching the live, you can't see it right now, but all the viewers could see B-roll footage that the team captured. Sorry, I'm going to try not to get emotional, but I am feeling it for sure. A lot of the B-roll footage of you was taken in my salon in New York City. Even the painting behind me was on the wall in the photo and the video of the salon that I owned in New York City. And even though I'm no longer the owner of Ammon Carver Studio, and now that the world has placed me, like we said, the universe gave me an opportunity, and here I am in Chicago, and I'm safe, and I've got all these great things. The team that took over the Ammon Carver Studio there are people that weigh on my mind and make me, I'm worried about them, and I'm worried about how they're going to get through it. And I stay connected to them. I don't just think about what I can be doing. I stay thinking about how others out there might be struggling, and how I can reach out and provide any kind of emotional support or any kind of just discussion points. And it was hard because I was watching that video and I hadn't seen that, and I saw this painting behind me, and there it was with you, and we were working, and I started to like well up, because those were memories of what feels like a lifetime ago, but here we are already shifting into a new place, and it feels like it's moving, and life should move forward. And I'm grateful for where we were, that we got to share that moment there together, and looking forward to all the moments that we will be sharing in the future in other places. And I have full trust that we will be able to do that stronger together, being emotionally vulnerable and just telling people like, hey, it's like scary for me too. That was hard to watch for me, but I'm glad we showed it, and I'm glad that I was able to see that. And you bet I'll be calling every one of those old employees of mine to make sure they're feeling okay tonight, because you just reminded me of that.
Ah.
See,
I'm
no
going to ask.
accidents in life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You guys talked for a second. I was really kind of like drippy for a second there. So
Ah.
thanks for giving me some time. Um, Here's another question for you, Sonia. So, do we think the industry will be different upon return, like in the salon, education, and what does that look like to you in your crystal ball, maybe?
Yes, well, definitely. As listening to Pekela, she was incredible and opened up even more thoughts for myself. I'd like to address in the salon, because I'm very passionate about working in the Ulta store in Santa Monica, and my clients, I mean, I've missed them so much, I really have, and I know they've missed me, and I have stayed connected with them on the phone. I've called every one of them individually, just checking in with them every now and again. But I know when we go back to the salon, we're going to have to be quite different. I think the first thing that comes to mind, I'm going to have to be very, very compassionate with my clients, because when they walk into the salon, I don't know what's going on in their head. I don't know what they've been through. I don't know what has happened for them. So we're going to have to really, really have a big heart. We have a very caring way of approaching them, and take each one individually, because we don't know. I did used to know them really well when I was seeing them every week or every couple of weeks. But now with this period of time, I feel like I'm probably going to see them in a whole new different light and in a whole new different way. That's just the clients, let alone the people I work with, the team I work with in the salon. So I'm actually, at first I was nervous, but now I'm really energized and excited that this will be a new way of being. It will create a new world of doing business. And it's almost like starting from scratch again, which I love because it's very exciting. But we're going to have to tread carefully and slowly and have a lot of compassion for sure. Don't you think so?
Yeah, absolutely. Nick, I know you were talking a little bit earlier today when you and I were just kind of bantering about real tangible things and talking about these clients. If they have been able to stay home and not come in, it's that opportunity for you to finally kind of give them that makeover that maybe they've always been wanting, right? So this could be an opportunity where you're spending this time thinking about that specific person and kind of reaching out to them to see if they're okay from a human element, but also say, hey, let's like, if you are like Sonia is saying, you listen to them, you put your ears wide open and hear where they're at and where they're and say, I've been thinking a lot about you too. Maybe now's the moment that we do that big change we've always thought about doing,
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I agree.
Yes, I think there's going to be a lot of clients and guests requesting makeovers because they just want to let go of the old and bring on new, which is going to be fabulous. And I'm super excited about that. And I'm really going to be coming from a place of caring, first and foremost, listening to them about their personal life, what has happened, and then approach their hair topic a little bit later on in the conversation.
Ammon, and Sonia, what I think about when I think of, what will the new normal be, right? And things will change in the salon, and all of those are great points. I will tell you, even, for us at Ulta Beauty, like we are partnering with doctors who are pandemic experts and epidemiologists to really understand exactly what we're dealing with and how we go back and make sure that our associates are safe and make sure that our guests feel safe while they're in the salon. So protocols are going to change. Social distancing is going to still be a thing. The way we clean, the amount of times we clean, sanitation rules, all of that changes, right, as we go back. And it's all going to be good because it's what we need to do to protect the guest and the associate. But it'll be different and it'll be new. And in the beginning, it's going to feel like, oh, this is strange because it's not something we're comfortable with yet. But just like anything else, once we get a rhythm going, it's going to feel like we didn't lose any time at all.
Yes, that's true.
All right, Sonia. So the last one I have on here is, I think it's just a kind of a building up and a cherry on top, almost topic-wise, from what you had, which is coming together and creating anew. And so I'm going to leave that on there because I'm thinking maybe you had something that you thought. We're talking about guests, but I think when you say coming together and creating anew, it's almost like us artists? Like, what are we doing to come together as artists? Because it's no longer like Sonia for Wella or Sean for Redkin or me for Lanza. It's a new day. It's a new day with barriers broken. Yeah.
Yes, the reason I wanted to give you that little question was I truly, truly believe in my heart that it is going to be very different. And I think personally, the power is in the people. I've always been a believer of that. I do a lot of reading books and things like that. And I think as a community, the hairdressing community, which is the bigger picture, coming together and creating new things, whether artists coming together. I mean, Ulta Beauty does it absolutely incredibly, having a pro team from all different manufacturers all coming together and then creating an even stronger message. But I think it's a time that we have to do things differently, and we will be coming together differently to create a new world, a new life. It's an exciting time. So it's not just artists, but it's the hairdressing industry as a community, because basically all community is a volume of people. That's what a community is. So the more people that have that conscious effort of creating a new way of doing education, it will definitely stay, because more power is in the people, definitely. And I'm excited for all of what we're going to be doing in the future. I know we've got lots of things that are going to happen, but we have a power. We are in a very, very powerful industry. We're touching people, we're inspiring people, we're making people feel great. That's what we do every day. So it's really a fabulous industry to be in.
It is. And I think now more than ever is when we have to unite as one, right? As an industry in total. Like, we have to make sure that we help everyone jump back in and be successful. And whether that's, tips and tricks, whether that's where, to find the knowledge, whether that's a salon that they need to call their home, we need to think about all those things, because it is going to be different. There are going to be, unfortunately, some salons that don't make it through this. So how do we come together as an industry and make sure that we provide homes for those associates? So that's going to be critical.
Yeah.
Well said.
I mean, it's going to be exciting for sure. I mean, I can't wait to see what it looks like. And I love all these ideas that we're floating around with, having people come in and experiencing different things and talking to each other and connecting to each other on a different level than we ever have had before. Luckily, I think technology has sort of like opened our eyes into like different ways of reaching out to people than we have before. I think the four of us that have been on this, we're used to jumping on planes on a regular basis. And this might even change the way that we decide to reach people, or the companies decide we reach people, just because in some ways it may be more efficient for us for a time. So who knows, I don't think there's ever going to be any way that replaces physical touch. I think that's the lucky part of what we have in our industry. But I do think it will be something to consider when it comes to sharing information and still realizing that we can stay connected and break down those barriers. And I'm very proud to be part of this team that is leading the charge, that is breaking down barriers, that is breaking down expectations, that is like, really trying our best to be at the forefront of an example that beauty is a lot more than just highlights and contour, that it has depth that can change people's lives, and it can give them the confidence that they need to take the next step that they need. So Sonia, thank you so much for your wise words as always. You are amazing. Nick, any last words for Sonia as we say goodbye?
No, just that we love you.
Love you so much.
Thank you. I'm so grateful and blessed to be a part of this team. I truly, and I'm not going to cry. I normally do, but I really am blessed. Thank you. Thank you.
I was the crybaby today. We love you, Sonia. Okay, coming up next, he's not a crybaby for sure. He is one of the best educators that I have ever worked with in my career. A wealth of knowledge, so fun to be around. Please welcome Mr. Sean Godard, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, Sean. How's it going, bud? Yeah. Okay, so listen, I'm going to dive right in and just kind of throw you the first topic that you threw at me, because you threw 5 at me where the girls threw 3. So we're going to go through them. But that's typical Sean style. Like Sean likes to get a lot in a short amount of time, so I feel like it's just like right on par with who you are. So the first thing is going to be how to get back into the swing of things once we're through all this. But before I throw it over to you, I'm going to do a quick check with the attendees. Can you guys hear Sean? Sean, do a little dance, say hello. I can't hear you, so I want to make sure if they can hear you, then we're good.
No.
Wait. Nick.
Yes,
I'm waiting to see the feed come in to see. They can't hear Sean. Sean, why don't you do your quick little log off on and back on, and then Nick and I can kind of recap what we've heard so far until Sean comes back on. How are you feeling, Nick?
I feel good. I think it's great dialogue. I think it's a lot of things that are on people's minds, right? What is the new normal? How do we get through this? How do we come back stronger? How do we unite as a team? How do we unite as an industry? And I think that's really the takeaways here, and those are the points that are so important for us to discuss. And that's why, to your point, Ammon, it was important that we had just this time to talk amongst our team, because we get these questions every day on social media or in our inbox. It's on people's minds. So I think, having the honest dialogue about it and also being honest with ourselves to say that, hey, we're all learning together. It's fluid, it's happening in real time, and we're all figuring this out as we learn every single day. And we wake up and it's a new day, and then we keep learning and we keep growing, and it's only going to make us stronger in the end.
Yeah, I know. And when you and I were talking about this earlier today, I remember, Nick, and I don't mind sharing it with us, it's just making sure we wanted to make sure that today was different than the rest of the episodes we've done so far, because we don't have anything going on in terms of physical content education like we normally do. This one was really just about open-hearted, raw, emotional talk, like real talk, like it said. But we didn't want it to just be fluffy, right? Just a bunch of artists talking about cute things and hopeful for the future. We wanted to really be authentic and dive into the things that mattered and go there, be willing to go there. And so I encourage you guys, as Sean is coming back on, to go ahead and type in those questions that you maybe are thinking about, that you're wondering about, that we haven't maybe addressed yet, or that you're hoping Sean can get to, because we will get to those as he comes back on. Sean, just doing a quick check. Are you able to join us back, buddy? I still don't hear him. Do you guys hear him?
No, I don't think so. Hey. All right.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little break and play one of our favorite videos of the year. Now, talk to us a little bit about this diversity video, and why do you think it was so important? Even though we shot it a little while ago, why do you feel like it's relevant like right now?
I think it's relevant every single day in all of our lives, right? It's about inclusivity. It's about finding the beauty in every single person that sits in your chair, that you make contact with. And it's about identifying the beautiful all around us. And I think, the team did such an amazing job capturing that. And everybody, you could feel it in the images, you could feel it in the video, that everybody felt beautiful, they felt special, they felt nurtured and taken care of. And that's what the beauty industry is all about. And that's what our job is as beauty professionals, is to make sure that everyone feels like these models and these people feel like in this video, because I think it's so critical to spread that throughout this entire industry.
Still to date, one of my favorite ones. You guys, please enjoy this video, and we'll be back in just a second.
This last year as a company, we launched a new campaign. It's really around the possibilities are beautiful.
Diversity and inclusion is about celebrating beauty from a lot of different people's walks of life.
It's about the discovery. We have all these cool boxes in the store. Beautiful boxes of colored palettes, or boxes that perfume comes in. But beauty doesn't come in a box. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder who brings that to life.
It's been really fun to make sure that we connect inclusion from a company perspective into what we do creatively. When we were coming up with the concept, instead of just picking models that are stereotypically thin, wide, long, beautiful, beautiful hair. We were
showing diversity in all ranges of people, walks of life.
so we could really celebrate like the people that are like really uniquely beautiful in their own kind of special way.
And then pushing it just a little for the beauty industry.
We wholeheartedly believe that diversity comes from within, and we have a very diverse team. As we continue to grow and evolve as artists, the diversity that we have as a team just makes us better equipped to service our guests.
If you walk in our store and it's a sea of color, and it's because we want to make sure we have something for everyone.
No matter who walks through the door, that they feel welcome and they feel like we have somebody that can take care of their hair type or their skin type or whatever it is that they need so they can feel their most beautiful.
Ulta Beauty isn't a place where people come to find beauty, it's where they celebrate beauty. You're already beautiful.
'Cause I am amazing.
So what do you guys think? Put some hearts or some comments in that
Yeah.
in the comment line there. We want to hear what you guys think of that video. It's kind of near and dear to us because it really celebrates everyone in all things beauty, right, Ammon?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun to do. And I can't tell you, I mean, I don't even know if I can count how many shoots that we have done together, but that one felt remarkably purposeful, you know, Nick, where it was remarkably connected to the right reasons, and always and at the right time, right? And I don't think that there's ever a wrong time for a video like that, but also it just felt like, you know what, this needs to be something that we focus on and that we take the lead on and saying like, this is really important and we're going to do the work that it takes to make sure that this is something that guests, associates, service providers, whoever you are, that Ulta Beauty is affiliated with this diverse inclusivity vibe. And so I'm very, very proud of that video, and it makes me smile every time I see it.
I agree. All right. Well, I think we have Sean on now, Mr. Sean Godard.
We do. I'm here. Sorry, technical difficulties.
Oh, yeah.
Check. I'm here now.
There he is, and you're a blonde. I love it. Look at you.
You know, it was a quarantine color moment. Why not?
Oh boy. Thankfully, you're trained. I have a feeling we're gonna have a bunch that come into the salon that don't look quite that crisp.
Yeah, unfortunately, probably. But, you know, we did okay here.
I like it.
I know it's almost kind of like fortunately, right? Like we don't want to like encourage them to do it, but it's like, oh, go ahead, because then
If you're a professional, yes.
Okay, Sean, so we're gonna jump right into it, okay?
Yeah.
First talking point that you threw our way is how to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, totally. Because it's crazy. Like, you know, I agree with what everyone's been saying. The downtime has been great to like rediscover things about yourself and try other things. But at the same time, we still have to go back to doing what we do. So I think for the salon professional, for example, it's like, how do we keep our mind going with doing hair? Because we're used to doing it behind the chair all day. And like not doing that suddenly for like 10 hours a day, let's say, you're going to lose that memory of your speed even. So, you know, kind of really thinking about how to keep yourself going during this time to keep your speed up, really.
I totally agree. I will tell you, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, not being behind the chair every day. And then when I jump in and I do hair, I'm like, don't come on, hands, don't fail me now. Like, you know how to work anymore.
Totally. It's so
there's
true.
so much truth to what you're saying about, you know, keeping fresh and keeping on your skills. And, you know, I was thinking about this earlier, like there's probably a lot of people that don't even have mannequins in their home. You know, now is a great time. Like I was just talking to our friends at Pivot Point and, you know, they're sending me some mannequins this week so that I can get my hands in here because I don't have them where I'm at. And so if you're looking for, you know, any mannequins or tripods or things like that, like go to pivotpoint.com and really reach out to them and get your hands on some stuff. They'll ship it to you so that you can start practicing, because I think you're right. I think it's so important to keep your skills sharp.
Totally.
Yeah. I'm jumping on a behind the chair live tomorrow, talking about practicing skills that you normally hate doing while you're in quarantine, so that you can like keep your skills sharp. You better believe that I'm going to be practicing my wet finger waves that I think the last time I really did them was in beauty school because I hated them. So stay tuned for that one tomorrow. A little sneak it out. It could be an epic fail, and I'll just laugh at my expense. It'd be great.
I don't think so. I don't think you've ever failed at anything.
Sean, number 2, things we can do in the following month to set us up to win when getting back to normal.
Well, yeah, that kind of coincides with what we just talked about. So, you know, and Pekela mentioned there's so many opportunities right now with stuff that's happening, but it's about choosing what's relevant to you and what you really need to help fuel you to get to the next level when we do go back to the salon. So, you know, for example, we're all used to being busy and being on the road, like you mentioned, and now new ways of doing education with people doing it on like Zoom or social media. I know, for example, even like the Redken Exchange is doing it every Tuesday for free. So you can sign up on Zoom and take a 2-hour class, which you normally have to pay for. So like Nick mentioned, get the tools, get the mannequin, and be able to practice and up your skill that is relevant for you so that when you get back into it, you have a lot of new great things to help you be faster and better at your craft.
Yeah, I agree. I had a thought to that. Oh, yeah. I was thinking, you know, Ammon was saying earlier about how we were bantering earlier today, talking about like ways to prepare to get back behind the chair, right? And I think the one thing that we were talking about is I think now more than ever, people are going to want to feel connected to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how this is working so well, right? We can do this because, Sean, I haven't seen your face and talked to you in weeks. And like,
I know.
I'm so happy to see you and talk to you. Imagine when we all get together. Forget it. We're going to have a long night. All of us. But
oh, I hope so.
Your guests too, like they're going to really want that quality time. Imagine if you had a plan in place for them. So if you took this time and really like, whether you have a notebook or you have an iPad or your phone or whatever, and you literally have swipes of pictures that you found on Instagram or on Google search that you're like, oh, you know, Sean, this is going to be a great new color and cut for you. And like have it mapped out and then have the product attached that they're going to need to take home that day so that they can get, you know, the look at home. Like that's where they're going to be like, you really took the time to like build that plan for me. That's going to be what sets you apart from somebody else, I believe.
Totally. And I think a lot of stylists are already even doing that. Like nowadays, everyone's so connected with social media that I know that a lot of your clients follow you, and it's a great time to have those even digital consultations with them to set up when they're going to come back in, what changes will happen so that you can book them maybe more accordingly as well, because we know that everyone's schedule is going to be crazy the second that these things open back up. So, you know, it's about planning and booking appropriately, and also maybe even having that consultation with them to set them up on their journey if they need a big project. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. And
Sean,
if you think about it,
go.
I'm sorry, Ammon. But
no, I was going to go ahead, finish, because I was going to give him the next topic. So go.
Well, before you go there, the only thing I was just going to add was totally over my head.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, there was a point. Oh, I know what it is now. The point I was going to make. Oh boy, it's starting to go the brain. Was around. Think about it. I was telling a bunch of stylists when we go back to work, it's going to be like holiday. Think about it.
Yeah.
I feel like the Christmas season, everybody's going to be wanting to get in. You know, it's going to be so busy. So to your point, plan that out and almost plan like what guests do you want to get in first and how do you want to book them in and how do you want to plan out your day? Like take control of it now while you have the control before you get behind the chair and it's just like the hands are going.
Exactly.
You know what, Sean? So the last one, we have a couple more, but this one I thought was very interesting, kind of thought-provoking for Sean Godard style was things we've learned about ourselves during this time. Like, it sounds very introspective for you, like about like what have we learned about ourselves while we've been in this space right now?
Yeah, I think it's important to the girls were saying that also to reflect on what it was that you have learned. And, for me, you guys know that I'm used to being around people all the time and I'm like not usually used to having so much downtime. And at first I thought, how is this going to affect me mentally? But I've been amazed that I'm not crazy, one, even though I did go blonde. But, I've actually been really enjoying it and connecting and doing things I've never done before. Like I've never cooked in my life. Nick, I know you're a big cook. But I've never done it in my life. So, we have some days that are better than others, but that's all part of the learning in it. So, yeah. And I think just, kind of realizing that those things are things that you can do while you're still busy and hustling, quote unquote, that I could still easily come back and cook a dinner and feel like I, accomplished more for myself versus the work life of always doing that and, making it that easy.
It's almost like things you've forgotten that you knew about yourself because you've been so busy, right? And now that you have some time, all of a sudden you remember, I forgot that I loved to do this as well because I've been so busy, but I stopped doing that. So that's a very interesting way of looking at it.
And you know what I love is that you're trying something new, right? You're trying cooking and you're having fun with it. And like you said, some days it's maybe not great, but you're discovering a new talent that you have and you're enjoying it. Like, I want to hear from everybody out there, like, put in the comments, what is something new that you started to do that you've learned during quarantine or that you forced yourself to be uncomfortable with and try? I would love to see what everybody's been up to, because I think that's great, you know, and that's what this is about. It's self-discovery too.
Absolutely.
I've discovered that I'm A-okay with with Jeff being an online shopper, and every day something arrives in my place. And I've just realized, like, every day something new is coming, and my apartment is looking different, and I'm like, you know what, Ammon, stop fighting it. It's just gonna happen, you know. So we all love our things.
Shameless plug. I legit just placed my Ulta Beauty order today, so that my bathroom is real.
I'm building my list. That's how much stuff I need. I'm building my list. It's so funny.
So Sean, last two topics are, I think we can combine into one, because I feel like they grow together. It's how we've grown and what will we do differently in the future. Talk to us about that.
I think, you know, it's looking at the things we kind of just talked about, but like what you've done differently, like what you've tried new is kind of part of how you've grown. Hopefully, if you've taken those skills or hobbies and turn it into something like a part of your regular life when all this is over. But, you know, what would you do differently? I think so many people now realize it's about being prepared that anything really could happen. And so whether not even just financially prepared, but like ready to, you know, be able to have things to, like, not just food even, but like we talked about mannequin heads, like things to keep you busy if there were something like this to happen. And so, you know, I've been able to, thank God Amazon is still happening, do this like studio situation to be able to produce something so that I feel busy, so that I'm still like giving something back to the hair community. So, you know, keeping that going after, because those were things that I never made time for before.
That's great. How about you, Ammon? What are you going to do different?
I'm doing a lot of things different. I'm learning that I was afraid of alone time. Well, I don't want to get super vulnerable, like me in my therapy session here, but like, no, I realized a lot of things that I'm grateful for. You know, Jeff moved here from Canada before all this happened, and I don't know how I would have weathered it being all by myself. You know, Thor wasn't here, my dog with me before, so I moved to a new city and would have been completely alone. And now he's here, you know, the dog's here, the cat's here, and I've learned things about myself that I find help me stay healthy and help me kind of stay accountable and stay in a healthy mindset. And so it's good to recognize those parts of yourself so that you can kind of stay in front of them. It's very easy. We mentioned earlier in the program about, you know, a healthy routine. And I realized that even though I think a lot of people's perception of me is that I'm the guy that gets up at 4 o'clock every morning and goes to the gym, it doesn't always happen. And there are times where, like, I can go into a place where if I don't have somebody that's helping me and keeping me accountable, or a buddy, whether it's Jeff or somebody that's doing it with me, then I can quite easily slip into a place where I'm just quiet and alone. And so that awareness is new for me, bringing that awareness to the forefront of my mind so I can take best care of myself. I didn't understand quite as profoundly as I do now. So that'll be my new normal for sure.
That's amazing. I think that's a lot of learning. Is this?
It's kind of deep. Sorry.
No, why? I mean, that's what it's about, right? Is that how are you going to take it, and what are you going to do different? So I think it's perfect.
Yeah. Well, listen, Sean, you're amazing as always. Thank you for your subject matter expert as always, and for the contribution to the team. Love having you on board. Any final words before we say goodbye to the fans?
No, it's been great just connecting again, and then I think we're looking forward to be back again later this week with some more of these. They're amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, right. We can't wait to have you back too. See you later, buddy.
See you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Nick.
There you go. Lots of things to think about, right?
All right. I think that there's been a lot of people watching, a lot of engagement on this one. I think that we'll let you guys know. We will definitely keep this up and follow up with the questions like we always do, so that we can continue to keep these questions answered. I would like to one more time just play our new campaign, See Beautiful Every Day, or See Beautiful Today. Is that right? I don't want to get it right. Throw up the hashtag, Margie, so I don't get it wrong. See Beautiful Today. But I loved it. It's a great campaign that we have going on right now that really touches the human soul. And it's more than just the beauty industry. It's about people, it's about our clients, it's about our friends, it's our families. And so I want to roll that video one more time just to bookend it, and then Nick and I can sign off this episode of Unveiling Beauty. Let's see that one more time.
So I hope you love that as much as we do. See Beautiful today. We want to see everything that is beautiful in your world. Share it with all of us. Share it with Ulta Beauty so we could share it with the world. Thank you for spending the time with us today. Put all your questions in the comment section. We promise to get back to you. And guess what? We'll be back again Wednesday. So tune back in on Wednesday. But for now, take care of yourselves, your loved ones. Stay healthy. And we'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good night, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.